Well, Stewarts 3.5. Well, Madonna did her big concert in Rio, and she did indeed attract 1.5 million people. The show went well, there were no problems, and I saw most of it on streaming, and I watched a segment on the Australian panel news show, The Project, tonight, and they pointed out that she, had an audience of 1.5 million, which is the biggest audience for a female performer, live performance. And they had 3 women on the panel all gushed about Madonna, and one man who pointed out that Rod Stewart got 3.5 million people performing on the same beach back in 1994, because he's just that petty. And I'm like, well, I bet I know why that is. I bet that's because of how they actually staged the show. And I went and looked and Googled, and of course Rod Stewart had a little round stage on the back of the beach facing out to the ocean, and the whole beach was able to see the concert. That's why he got 3.5 million people. Madonna, unfortunately, they staged the concert differently, where they had the stage in the middle of the beach facing one side, cutting off the other side. Now, why, if they were going to do that, why they didn't put it all the way down the end of the beach so the whole beach could watch, I don't know. But by setting it up that way, how they staged it, they limited how many people she could get. Now, whether that's because they were afraid she wouldn't get 3 million and they wanted to just make it so, they'd fill the beach and that would look better than going for the full beach and not getting it. But I think she would have got the whole beach anyway. So we'll never know, because that's how they staged it. Now, the show itself, they had to compromise a couple of things because they had no ceiling to raise the portal. So Ray of Light, she just did on the Bedtime Stories cube, I think, and with like a thing to hold on to so she could gyrate and all that around without falling off the cube. And then Live to Tell she did with a bench sitting on top of the cube as well. And they just had more screens, because instead of the 3 at the back, they had 2 bigger ones on the side as well, so they had 5, and then all the additional ones going down the beach. Now, the only negative thing that I can say is the costuming, where they changed the colour of the Vogue, the beautiful Jean Paul Gaultier corset. They made it green, yellow, and purple, because those are Rio's colours. Why couldn't they have just put a jacket on her or something, or had her wrap a flag around herself or something at some point to show, her wearing their colours? Because they totally ruined the look of that costume and the whole look of the whole ballroom scene, which Anita joined her for, because people were like, why isn't Anita doing that song with her? And I'm like, I don't know, but she did show up, so that was cool. But yeah, so the costume, and I knew that because I saw the pictures. But the other thing was the hair. When she did the rehearsal, she did live hair, and people were saying, why does she just use her real hair? Why is she wearing the wig? And I'm like, because it's got that Marilyn Monroe short, tight, curly sort of look. So she wore the wig and they brushed it out. It looked awful. And I'm like, who did that? Who did that to her? Where are her gays? How did that happen? But yeah, so she looked awful. She looked like she'd just been in the rain and her hair had just fallen. And the curls had dropped out and all that. It looked awful. And I'm like, who did that? How did that happen? But the rest of the show, she looked great. Aside from the wig and that corset, everything else looked amazing. The staging was pretty good. I was pretty impressed, and I'm glad that she did it. I just think she should end here. While she's at the top of her game, she's competing with the other girls. The concert, I think, made 225 million, which is, I think, her third best or something like that. So, it's pretty respectable. And she had 80 sold out shows, I think she should just end it there before she goes into some sad fat Elvis phase of her career, which I don't want to see. Because the reality is, you age quicker decade to decade. The difference between 50 and 60 is a lot different from 60 to 70. As you can look at her now, she looks so much different than she did just 5 years ago. So it's not going to get any better. And she's not like Cher, who can just trot around the stage in different costumes. She has to really perform for it to be a Madonna show, and for her to, I think, be proud of herself. And she's not going to be able to do that. As she gets older, it's just not going to happen. It's just physically not possible. She is aging, and that's nothing to look down on or judge her for or be ashamed of. It's just a reality, and fighting that she's not going to win. So just end now, just while you're on top, instead of failing later. That's what I hope happens. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the whole thing. Yes, I do love Madonna. Yes, I am a fan, but I will criticize things that I don't agree with. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Madonna. So you don't need to tell me I hate Madonna or I'm not a fan because I've made, this video. But overall, concert was great. Wish they'd staged it differently. I wish she'd tried for that 3.5 because I think she could have got it. But We'll never know because they staged it differently. And I think they could have set the stage up in a way that could have been done kind of like Rod Stewart and that did, but it's kind of easier for those guys because they don't have a production. They basically just stand with their microphones and sing and gyrate and run around, and you can do that, any way you want. Whereas Madonna's concert really does have, a production that has to sort of, be maintained. But I think they could have done it. I wish they'd tried, but they didn't, and we'll never know. So I'm going to go.